Welcome to Unrestricted. I'm your host, Athena Simpson. I'm a serial entrepreneur and life and business optimization coach and educator who helps women uncover their superpowers so they can thrive at life and work without compromise. I went from being deeply depressed, self-loathing, and unhealthy to living an exciting and fulfilling life, running a business that I love. I feel stronger, healthier, and happier than I ever have before. It took a lot of work and exploration to get to this point, and I'm still learning every day. I want you to have an unfiltered view into the reality of transformation with clear, tangible takeaways that you can apply to your life and career or business to help you get more unrestricted. So put your phone into do not disturb, minimize any distractions, and let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unrestricted Live. Today, we're going to do a little something different, and I am going to read a blog that I wrote back in November 2021 when I actually burnt myself out, which is hilarious considering I teach people how not to burn out. It was a really difficult and vulnerable moment for me, but I turned it into a learning experience, which ended up being super beneficial because it means that I am able to help you prevent this even more. So I burned myself out so you don't have to. I hope you enjoy this blog on what to do if you're already burnt out. There are 12 steps that you can take in order to recover from burnout. They're very gentle. They'll get you back into feeling into a good place. First, I'm going to tell you a little story about my roadie past, and then we're going to get into 12 steps to help you recover from burnout quickly, gently, and magically. So strap in. You are in for a gentle ride. The first time I can remember being burnout was just after finishing up as a production assistant on the Linkin Park tour in September 2007. We worked 15 to 16 hours every day, fueled by vanilla quad shot lattes from Starbucks and cigarettes. At the end of a long day, I'd go into party mode and start downing Jägermeister. This repeated for the entire 7 weeks of the tour, and when I got home, I shut down. I had one of those new cable boxes that recorded shows, and I had somehow set it to record Rock of Love, a trashy dating show with Bret Michaels from Poison. I got a 1.5 liter bottle of wine and takeout Thai food and sat in my little studio in LA and binge watched a series for the first time while I finished that bottle of wine. I woke the next day with a roaring hangover and a cold that kept me in bed for a few weeks. I had no work to do and was utterly lost and exhausted. The next few months were some of the darkest I can remember. There was a writer's strike. Work was hard to come by, and I was piecing together odd jobs on TV sets and installing phones in offices. It wasn't until March the following year that I got a full-time job. I had also started doing production on large music events on the weekends. I kept doing both, working sometimes 60 to 80 hours a week. And I would party to relieve my stress instead of taking care of my body by sleeping or exercising. That summer, I had my first panic attack. It was a direct result of burnout and mistreating my body. For almost a year, I was terrified on a daily basis that I would have another panic attack. It was only when I quit drinking, started a diet to solve my gut health issues, and got into therapy that things got better. I was finally taking care of myself, and it felt incredible. But I got overconfident and went to London in 2010, only to abandon my newfound self-care and go back to my work hard, party hard ways. It took me another 9 years to finally stop treating myself that way. I had a phoenix rising from the ashes moment, as many of you know. I quit drinking, sold everything, and ran away to literally live with the circus. I designed my dream life in Tulum, Mexico, started a business I loved, and created a lifestyle that is a wonderful blend of activities, work, and practices that make me feel superhuman. But something I thought was behind me happened again. I burned myself out last week. I feel ashamed to say it because this is exactly what I help people avoid. I felt like I let you all down. Now, this time it was far less extreme than what happened in the past, including zero partying. I felt tired and emotional rather than my normal, vibrant, thriving, happy self. The experience zapped my energy and motivation. It reminded me of how helpless you can feel when it happens and how it can be a struggle to know what to do to recover from burnout. After wrestling with my own disappointment, I know exactly what I did to get to that place. I got cocky. I thought I could handle an immense amount of work because I've been training myself for years. But, and a big but, I didn't follow any of my own advice. So it's no surprise that this happened. I did a huge event while I was menstruating. I decided to do it on short notice without much pre-planning. I overcommitted to the amount of work I could do. I stopped doing movement and I wasn't fueling myself properly. I let my morning and evening routine slip. But there's a gift in this situation, and now I want to share that with you. I laugh at how I've created a business that literally holds me accountable to the things that I teach. That was the worst part, feeling like I'd done something wrong by letting myself get to the point of burnout. But rather than beat myself up and let the shame spiral out of control, I did the work to get myself feeling back on track and saw the opportunity to reacquaint myself with this horrible feeling and learn how to get out of it quickly. The thing is, you see burnout prevention everywhere, but what are you supposed to do when you're already burnt out? Burnout prevention takes time to cultivate the skills and habits to make sure it doesn't happen. And then the self-control not to revert back to your old ways, which, as I've just shown, can happen even when you're the one teaching burnout prevention. So you've burned yourself out. Now what? When you've exhausted all your reserves and you feel completely spent, what can you do to feel good again? Once you've recovered, then you can start doing the preventative work. But for now, let's get you feeling human. Here's a process I took myself through to repair and recover from burnout, and I hope will help you if you find yourself in the grips of exhaustion. Okay, so you've burned yourself out. It happens, but now you need to recover. Imagine yourself as an injured athlete. You aren't going to go back to training full force or you risk re-injuring yourself. This process is much the same. You pushed yourself too hard and you're injured. You must build back your strength gradually while focusing on recovery, because pushing yourself is just going to injure you again. If you prioritize your self-care, as soon as you spot burnout, you'll perform better over time. If you push through it, you'll suffer and probably shut down harder and for longer. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. Here's the process you can use to recover from burnout. Number 1, identify that it's happening. You'll know the signs. Your brain won't cooperate. You'll be snappy or irritable. Work that would normally take you 20 minutes takes 2 hours. You feel tired and oversleep, or you sleep badly. You don't feel like you have energy to do anything, and you might start feeling anxiety and or depression that you can't do it all. And often you'll collapse just as you reach the finish line or right before. You might feel impulsive where you weren't before and want to numb out with TV, social media, or substances like alcohol, booze, and other things. For me, it's a very distinct feeling of emptiness. My body doesn't feel like itself, very delicate, almost shaky, and I'm incredibly sensitive to my environment and find it difficult to focus and relax. And when I look at my to-do list, I feel exhausted and overwhelmed before I even get started. And usually that's because of an inner knowing that I won't be able to get it all done. Number 2, forgive yourself. Once you realize that you're on the brink of burnout or already there, it's important to start being kind to yourself. The negative self-talk will only add to the situation. So if you become your own cheerleader and supporter, even if you don't quite believe yourself, it will make this process easier. A technique that I use with my clients is a self-love journal practice. Write 10 things down every night that you're proud of yourself or that you love about yourself. If writing feels like too much of an effort, lay in bed and say these things to yourself. You'll motivate yourself more if you are kind to yourself. No one is motivated by the coach that yells at them, not for a long time anyway. If you start shaming yourself, use the reframing technique, which is turning a negative into a positive. For example, I should have known better than to do too much turns into, I love that I'm ambitious and human, and I've learned more about myself in this experience. I recognize that I need to reset, and I love myself to know that I'm taking care of myself now, and that will be better for me in the long term. Every time you catch yourself saying something bad to yourself, reframe it into a positive. If it's hard to do mentally, write it down. Sometimes putting things to paper can make it easier for you to say kind things about yourself, especially when you don't feel like it. Number 3, clear your schedule. This one is important. You'll feel pulled to push yourself if you've committed to events, meetings, or projects. When you are burnt out, you're not going to be good company or be at your best. So cancel or reschedule as much as possible to create space for you to rest and recharge. Yes, you might have FOMO or worry about what people think of you, but that's mostly in your head. You're no good to anyone or yourself if you're feeling like shit. So clear out as much as possible. Tell people that you are in need of some self-care time and want to chill, and you'll be in touch to reschedule. Or if you don't want to share, tell them something urgent has come up that you need to deal with. If you see something in your calendar that's giving you anxiety or feels draining just by looking at it, move it or get rid of it. Sometimes a nice chill evening with a good friend can be recharging. So use your best judgment on what feels good and what is pushing it. I recommend trying to get at least 2 to 3 days of nothing scheduled and no work at all to do the next step, which is step 4, rest, sleep, and rest. Sleep is one of the most restorative activities you can do for your body. Listen to your body. If it tells you to take a nap in the middle of the day or go to bed at 8 p.m., do it. I also suggest allowing yourself to sleep in for a few days if you can. This can be difficult if you start getting guilty about sleeping in. This is a clear sign for me that I push myself too hard when I'm laying in bed, getting anxious about all the things I should be doing, or shaming myself for being lazy. When you're at a weak point, it can be easy for the brain to kick into overdrive, but keep reminding yourself that it is better if you sleep now so you can come back strong. Number 5, let the emotions flow. You put yourself through a lot and your body is going to want to release it. I used to try to hold these feelings back, but over the years realized they are part of the process and in fact are necessary. I've cried a lot over the last few days and it feels great. I was holding on to those emotions, and crying allows me to release them and feels so good. I went to a sauna and the heat helped me let go. I was crying in the sauna and in the hot tub, and I just let it happen. I talked to friends and told them how I was feeling and let myself cry. Sure, it's vulnerable as hell, but I felt stronger by just allowing myself to feel and connect with the emotions rather than push them down. And by letting them out, I could process them rather than stuff them down and they rear their ugly heads later. So as you go through any of these steps, if you feel like you want to cry or feel sad or whatever, don't hold back. Holding them in will just delay your repair and recovery. Number 6, consider a digital detox. There's considerable evidence that our phones and social media cause anxiety. I don't need to tell you that. But what I will tell you is that when you are in a weakened state of burnout, one of the best things you can do is shut everything down. If you couple this up with sleeping and chilling, 24 to 48 hours off your phone, computer, and social media will make you feel like a new person. Get a book you love, listen to music you like, write, paint, or maybe watch a movie. But limit the screen time if you do this. Just cut out the outside world while you repair. You'll feel so much better for it. Number 7, get back to a routine, no matter how small. Routines are one of the best ways to ensure that you start and end your day in a good mindset. This is the foundation of the work I do with my clients because routines allow you to automate your self-care even when you don't feel like it. If you didn't have a routine before, do something super gentle and easy to start. Spend 10 minutes outside without a phone and your favorite beverage in the morning, appreciating nature. At night, spend 10 minutes writing up that list of things you're proud of yourself for or love yourself for. If you already have a routine, get back to it with the bare minimum. I teach expandable routines. If you fall out of routine and try to go back to it full force, it will feel like a strain. My bare minimum morning routine is drinking water, making my bed, flossing and brushing my teeth, sitting outside for 10 minutes, and doing at least 5 minutes of guided meditation before writing my to-do list. I built this up over years. No BS. I just started by drinking a glass of water every morning until I did it without thinking. Then I added making my bed, one thing at a time until it feels weird not to do it. What's important is consistency, doing something good for yourself and not grabbing your phone first thing in the morning. If you struggle with sleep, try putting your phone in a different room and not looking at it for at least 30 minutes before bed. And if you have a TV in your room, shut it off and cover it up. There's all sorts of other issues I see with sleep that I get into with my clients, but the phone is usually the biggest culprit. Number 8, nourish yourself. Nourishment is the act of doing nice things for yourself for no other reason than to make yourself feel good. Now is the time to go into nourishment overdrive. It is the best antidote for perfectionism and one of the best ways to recharge. Take a nice bath, do some gentle stretching by candlelight, lay in the sun, go for a leisurely walk in nature, get some pampering if it's available, like a massage or spa treatment. Read a book for fun. The most important thing during all of this is to take it easy and be kind on yourself. I know that sun and ocean and bike rides recharge me. So even though I might not feel like it, hello, shame spiral, I'll make myself go. I leave plenty of time to enjoy these things so I don't feel rushed and I can take as long as it feels good. If you don't show yourself love, no one else will. So double down on the nourishment to help yourself feel loved. It will make you feel better so much quicker. Number 9, take care of your body. If you are an active person, don't push yourself to work out hard if you've burnt out. My suggestion is the first couple of days, sleep, chill, do very light movement like gentle yoga or stretching. Then a little exercise can give you an awesome bump of energy and help your recovery. So go for a walk, put some music on and dance, go for a bike ride, something that will get you moving and your blood flowing, but isn't intense. You'll know when you're ready for a hard workout again, which can be super beneficial to knock the cobwebs out and revive you, but only after you've recharged for a few days. If you start to work out hard and feel exhausted, listen to your body. Don't push it too hard. It's okay to stop. Movement that is fun, that you enjoy, is the best thing to get you feeling awesome. Number 10, give yourself premium fuel. Now is the time to fuel yourself as best as you can. Avoid alcohol and marijuana and any other substances that numb or cause depression. They can make you feel emotionally worse and will deplete your body, which can make it harder for physical, mental, and emotional recovery. You'll probably want to dive into junk food. Your body knows that carbs, fats, and sugars will give it quick energy, but your nutrients are depleted. It's important to pack as much nutrient-dense food back into your diet as possible. Make a smoothie with lots of superfoods. Eat lots of leafy greens and vegetables. And yes, have that dessert if you want, but make sure you're also getting good stuff too. This isn't the time for a strict diet. Just think if there are ways to get more fruits and veg into your meals. If you have supplements, this can give you an added boost. My go-tos are vitamin D, magnesium, vitamin C, zinc, vegan omega-3, and B12. However, the best way to get nutrients is straight from the source, which is fruits and vegetables. Burnout depletes magnesium, so that's a great one to focus on. Leafy greens, nuts, seeds, avocados, bananas, legumes, tofu, and whole grains all offer decent amounts of magnesium and other nutrients. Your body is also probably suffering a high amount of inflammation, which makes it a nice habitat for sickness and longer term will cause all sorts of havoc. I love getting my hands on anything with ginger or turmeric. Both are great for inflammation. I make juice or tea from lemon juice, garlic, turmeric, and ginger, and knock a few of these back a day when I'm really depleted. Try to eat whole foods, which is unprocessed food from the list above, and do not fast if you are a woman. Fasting for women signals cortisol production, the stress hormone. Our bodies are baby-making machines, so when we don't have the right amount of fuel, our body goes into high alert, which means it sends out stress hormones, which is not good for us if we're already in a depleted state. If you don't have an appetite, which can often happen when we're stressed and overworked, try a smoothie. I prefer smoothies over juices because you're still getting the fibers, or a small handful of nuts. Number 11, reflect rather than reprimand. It's happened. It's done. You burned yourself out. No need to reprimand yourself. However, when you're feeling up to it, look back and see what you can learn from it. Was there something or someone that triggered you into overdrive? Did you see this coming? Could you have altered your path or delegated what you were doing? Could you have taken less on? We learn so much by being curious about what happened rather than chastising ourselves for what we did wrong. There's no wrong, in my opinion, because absolutely everything is a learning opportunity as long as you look at it that way. And number 12, prevention. Once you're back on your feet, prevention is the name of the game. Check in regularly with how you're feeling and the schedule you have. Does it feel tuned into your needs, or is it weighted unevenly towards output? Emotional decisions about projects in your business should be delayed until you can review the workload to complete it versus what you have available. Even if you're in a good place, taking my own advice on this one. Learn how to balance your mind, body, and how you work to be calibrated to feeling your best. Routines and structure to ensure you're putting your own needs first should be prioritized to help you feel like you're running a marathon successfully rather than lots of sprints and burnout. If you want help on how to do this, check out some previous episodes of the Unrestricted Live podcast. My favorite is the 4-part series on thrival mode, where I go through literally everything mindset, body, and how you work to help you hit thrival mode. And there's even an assessment at the end to see where you're at with it. You can also subscribe to my newsletter. And I've got a brand new beta testing exclusive membership for women on how to feel superhuman. So get in touch with me if you want to find out more about that. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Unrestricted. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a minute to leave a review or give me a little shout out on Instagram at Athena.Simpson. If you'd like more content from me on getting unrestricted, sign up for my newsletter. Well, you'll get an email from me with the 3 things that I've been devouring to optimize my life and business. It might include hacks, tips, experiments, resources, books, podcasts, and more, all to help you get more unrestricted. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe at any time. So go ahead and sign up at AthenaSimpson.com/newsletter.